My name is Elawe Sigbenu of Elawe Fashion. You're welcome to today's Elawe Fashion online class. I'm going to be teaching you how to draft pattern for trousers. Okay, here's the measurements we'll be working with, and they're all in inches. We have the waist, we have the hip, we have the outer leg or the trouser length, we have the inner leg, and then the crotch. The crotch is the outer leg minus the inner leg. Okay, so here we have 32 and 34, 24. You subtract it, you get 8 inches. And then we have 1 inch added to the crotch length for ease, and it's a constant measurement. Okay, so we have the thigh and then the ankle. If you want to go through if you want to know how to take the measurement for trousers, you can check my previous post and then you see how to take trouser measurements. Okay, now let's get to work. The first thing I'll do here is to take my crotch length, which I have at 9 inches. Okay, so I'm gonna take, so this is my waistline. This is my waistline. From my waist, I'll take 9 inches downwards. I'll take 9 inches downwards, and then I'll rule a line across. So I'll call this my crotch. Okay, this is the crotch line. Okay, so on the crotch line, I'll take my thigh. My thigh is 21. I'm going to be working with 1/2 of the leg. So whatever figure I have here, I'm going to divide it by 2. Okay, so my thigh is 21. I'll be dividing by 2, which is 10.5. Okay, so I'm going to take 10.5 here, and I'm going to square it upwards. So I'll take 10.5 here. So this is 10.5. I'm just going to break the lines. I don't want to have too many lines on my pattern. Okay, so this is the front part of the trouser that I'm working on first. So I'm going to finish the front before I go to the back leg. Okay, so from this point here, which I took my thigh measurement from, okay, I'm going to come back 2 inches. It's actually a constant. So I'm going to come back 2 inches, I'm going to come back 2 inches, and I'll square it up. Okay, and then I'm going to take a curve from this point. I'm going to take a curve from this point all the way to the waistline. I'm going to take a curve from the crotch here. So this is the front. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking my measurements all the way down. So here I'm working on a pencil trouser. So what I'm going to do is, I need a long finger now. So on the ankle, so this is my ankle where I have the trouser length. I'm going to come in 1 inch. Okay, come in 1 inch here. Let's cross check it whether it's correct. Yeah, so 1 inch, and then I'm going to taper it to the thigh, straight to the thigh. Okay, so I'm trying to draft the front part of the trouser. So from my waist, I need to locate my knee. My knee is at 18 inches. I think I didn't do that. So my knee length is 18 inches. 18 inches. So I'm going to locate my knee. My knee length. Around my knee is also 18 inches. It's actually a coincidence. It's not like it's a constant figure. Okay, so it's not because it's 18 and 18. You'd say it always has to be like that. Okay, so 18 divided by 2, I have 9 inches. So on the knee here, I'm going to take 9 inches. You can decide to read it across and label your knee. Okay, so I'm going to connect my. I'm going to connect this, and on the ankle I have 12 inches for my ankle. 12 divided by 2 is 6 inches, so I'm going to have 6 inches here. And then I'll connect from my knee all the way down to my ankle. Now, this is for the front part of the trouser. Okay, so now next I'm going to start with the back. measurement. And I'm going to start with the hip. To get the hip location from the thigh, this is my thigh, from the thigh I'm going to come up 3 inches. From my last video I said in between 3 and 3.5 inches. 3.5 works more for people that have a longer, that are taller, have a longer lower body. Okay, so I'm going to have a broken line here to indicate my hip. So I'm going to have a broken line to indicate the area where my hip is. Now I'm going to do something and I want you to pay attention to what I'm going to do. My hip is 37. So I'm going to divide 37 in 2 places. 37 divided by 2, that is 18.5. And there's something I didn't mention earlier. If you know, you will always notice that your trouser rolls forward from the back. In other words, the front is smaller than the back. How do you achieve that? I'm not going to calculate that the smaller part separately in front and then the bigger part at the back. No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the front, draft the front pattern exactly. The exact measurement is what I'm going to do with the front. But for the back is where I'm going to add the allowance that I will need to sew the outfit, the trouser. Okay, so that's for the thigh. That's how to calculate the thigh. So by the time we go back to the thigh, I'll show you how to do that. But coming back to the hip, I'm going to take the front and continue to the back. So it's more like I'm going to spin my tape somewhere around. Now watch closely. I'll need my sewing allowance for this front part. I'm going to work with 1/2 inch. So this is my sewing allowance here. Okay. So I will also need sewing allowance to sew for the side, because this is the side. I'll need 1/2 inch. So in other words, I need 1/2 inch here. I need 1/2 inch extra for the front. And then for the back, I would also need 1/2 inch for the side, and then 1/2 inch for the center back, because this is the center front, and then this is the side seam. So the same way I need 1/2 inch here and 1/2 inch here, which is 1 for front and 1 for the back. So 1 plus 1 equals 2 inches. So now I'm going to add this 2 inches to half the measurement of the hip. So that means I'm going to have 18.5 plus 2 inches, which is 20. Okay, so now what I'm going to do closely. For the front here, I have 8.5. Okay, I'm going to spin my tape all the way round. Okay, and then mark 20.5. Let me repeat what I just did again. So I said I have 1/2 inch allowance for the front. I have 1/2 inch for the side, which is 1 inch. Okay, I have 1 inch for the side of the back, and then 1 inch for the center back of the, a 1/2 inch for the center back as well. So which is 1 plus 1 equals 2. Don't forget, I'm drafting the front and back trouser in one piece. Okay, so now I'm going to do it again. So 1 for the front, 1 for the back. I have 2 inches. So 2 inches plus 18.5, which is half of the hip measurement. I have 20.5. So I'm going to place the tape from the center front to the side, and then spin my tape to the back, and I have 20.5. So that's for the hip. Now on the thigh line, I'm going to go back 2.5 inches to get the crotch for the back. Okay, remember I said we're going to add the measurements for the leg parts to the back, the allowance. So we have 1/2 inch here and 1/2 inch here, which is 1 inch. For the back, we also have half at the 2 sides for sewing allowance, which is altogether 1 for the front, 1 for the back, which is 2 inches. Okay, now we need to add that 2 inches to the back. That's what I'm going to do now. On the thigh, instead of me adding that 2 inches we just calculated, I'm going to add extra 1/2 inch, which is a constant. So I have 2.5 inch on the tie line to achieve the back thigh. Okay, I'm going to add 2.5 inches here. This 1/2 inch extra is a constant. You have to always add it. So I'm going to add it here. Okay, and then I'll connect my, I'm going to connect I'll have to connect it to my hip. Okay, so I have to connect it to my hip. Okay, so the next thing I need to do here is to take my waist measurements. My waist is 30. I'm going to divide my waist in 4 because I have to get my front separately from the back when it comes to the waist. So I'll have 30 divided by 4, which is 7.5. So for the front, I need my half-inch sewing allowance. I'm going to take 7.5, and then I need my half-inch allowance. So coincidentally for me, I have the same measurement as my hip line. So it's straight, so it's not like I'm going to curve it. Okay, so it's just straight for my hip line. The measurement I have here is 7.5 plus 1 inch, which is half on both sides, which goes to 8.5. So here I have 8.5 inches for my waist. Okay, now to achieve the back waist, we have to raise it up with either 1.5 or 2 inches. For a regular measurement, you can raise it up with 1.5 inch. For people who have a wider hip, as probably about 44, 46 and above, we make sure that we use 2 inches. But if you have less than 42 inches, you can work with 1.5 inches. So here I'm going to work with 1.5 inches. So 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to leave a faint line across. So next, I'm going to connect this line, this fly, the fly for the back. I'm going to connect it to this rise I just did for 1.5 inches. So wherever it touches it, that's the point where I'll take my measurement for my back waist. So my back waist is 7.5. Okay, so I need half inch on both sides, which is 1. That is okay. Then I'm going to add my dart measurement. For my dart, I'm going to be working with 1.5 inches, so which is 8.5, 9.5, which is 10 inches altogether. Now I'm going to take 10 inches, and this 10 inches, I'm going to spin my tape until it lands on the front waistline. So this is where it lands, my front waist line. Now, it's not compulsory that the front and back, they must land on the same spot. It's not compulsory, but because here now, that's not the case. The front is different from the back. So you connect your waist to the hip. So for the back, this is the back side, and then this is the front side. Okay, so now I'm just going to quickly finish up the lower part of the trouser. So remember I said I'm going to add 2 inches to the back leg. I'm going to add, and then you connect your lines, and then connect to the thigh line as well. Now remember I said at this point, at the thigh line, instead of taking 2 inches like I said to add to the back trouser, you must add at least ½ inch, and this is for ease. It is compulsory and it's a constant figure. You must not add less than ½ inch. Okay, so with this I hope I was able to explain to you how to draft the trouser, and I hope you understand it. Now, how do you separate the front and the back? Because it's more like I have 2 in one piece. How do I separate it? I'm just going to duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate either the front or the back so that I can cut one of it out, and then I have 2 pieces. So I'm going to duplicate, trace out the front, and then I'll keep it aside, and then I'll cut out the back. Thank you, and see you in my next class.